Hi, my name is Darren Joseph from HCJ.tax, and we're the team that seeks to demystify that sometimes confusing world of international tax. And today we have a bit of a segue. We have the honor and the privilege of speaking with Steve Maggi. Steve, would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. Steve Maggi here. I'm an immigrant from Argentina, and I've been running my own immigration practice based in the US since 2004, so for a little while.
Okay, fantastic.
Could you talk us through the E2 visa? Like, how does it work? Who qualifies?
Absolutely. The E2 visa is probably the most underutilized tool by entrepreneurs and investors who want to live in the United States. I don't think it has the glamour of something like an extraordinary ability, title like the O1 visa has, but it's so underutilized, and it's accessible to essentially anyone from a country that has a treaty with the United States. Currently, there are 81 countries that have an E2 treaty, which means if you're from Pakistan or from South Korea or Australia or Argentina, even if you don't have any ties to the US, but you have funds to invest and you have a solid business model, or even you want to buy rights to run a franchise or expand a business, you can get, depending on what country you're from, up to 5-year renewable visas, and you can self-sponsor through your company that you set up in the US. Most cases, you're investing $100,000 or more, but it depends on what the size and scope of the business is and how many jobs you can create. It's all about job creation. So if you can come up with a business model that will create jobs, or even become a joint partner in a business where you own at least 50%, or there are some cases where you can even get venture capital from VCs, not put up your own money, but be the brainchild behind the venture. Then you can get a visa depending on what country you're from. If you don't have a passport, let's say you're Brazilian or Indonesian, Chinese, Indian countries, the BRICS countries, most of them don't have a treaty. If your spouse has a passport from one of those countries, or you have a second nationality, you and I have talked about that many times, people who hold multiple passports, you can use that passport. So you can essentially choose the passport you want. If you have an Italian passport, but you're Brazilian, there's an office in Sao Paulo, a US consulate that processes E2s just for Brazilians with other qualifying passports. And so I think that the E2 is a gold mine because you can use it to run your business and make money and live in the United States. And if you have a spouse, they are automatically eligible to work for anyone they want. And so I think that the E2 is probably my favorite visa for that reason, because it has so many options for people and it's open to so many people from around the world.
Right. And I know in the Caribbean, in terms of the CBI nations, Grenada has that benefit as well, E2 treaty nation. But correct me if I'm wrong, I saw some narrative somewhere in social media. I know that's not the best place, but it was clarifying that having the passport of an E2 treaty nation is not enough. You need to have substantial ties. You need to spend time there. Am I correct in saying that?
That's a change that they made because, as you know, citizenship by investment has become very popular. And a lot of Chinese nationals were obtaining the E2 through Grenada for the purposes of applying. So now the requirement is that you have some sort of residence there. We have clients who have a second residence there. They can prove they bought a property or something. Of course, that makes it more expensive to go through this whole thing. But the E2, as I mentioned, is such a powerful tool. And if you're from China, India, Indonesia, Russia, Brazil, South Africa, which is half of the world's population, then you don't have another passport. You can't, get to that specific pathway. And so now they're tightening a little bit what the controls are in terms of residence in that country, because there was a flood of especially Chinese investors getting their citizenship through the Grenadian CBI program.
Okay, understood.
And if someone wanted to reach you, what's the best way to find you?
Probably just to contact me on LinkedIn or to write me directly, SMAGGI at SMAlawyers with an S.com. The website is www.smaimmigration.com. They can also send a query through the website.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, understood.